So my dude's Valk here, and today we're going to be talking about the top 5 worst weapons in Genshin Impact, because yesterday you guys liked the top 5 best weapons in my opinion so much that I figured I'd give you guys a top 5 worst, and thank you for the suggestion, Bart. So basically we're going to be talking about the top 5 worst weapons. I want to make sure that everyone knows that we're not going to be talking about 3 stars. We're not going to be talking about 4 stars. It's going to have to be 5 stars. What are the worst 5-star weapons in Genshin Impact? You guys should have an inkling of an idea, but some of these decisions will surprise you. Now, I want to make it also known that these are in my opinion. I've been playing Genshin since day 1. Every single day I've been on this game, I have a very thorough understanding of the game and what makes something good or bad. Now, I'm not saying I am mathematically correct or objectively correct. I always have my takes, and I always stick to my takes depending on what it is. I mean, everything's subject to change, but I want to make sure to throw that in there so you guys understand where I'm coming from, my experience, and why I feel I am justified to actually make something like this, because I have a very thorough understanding of the game in and out. So, let's go ahead and let's hop into it. Starting us off at number 5, this is going to catch everybody off guard, the Red Horn Stone Thresher. Valk, this weapon's really good. What do you mean? It is really good, but this is the top 5 worst 5-star weapons in the game. And I hate to say it, a lot of the 5-star weapons are really strong. So you have to be very nitpicky, and there's a lot to nitpick on this. This weapon is basically exclusively good for our Ito and not really anybody else. And the main reason is that base attack. The base attack is 475. And also the passive, nobody else other than Artaki Ito can really use the passive at all. Defense is increased by 28%, normal charge attack, damage is increased by 40% of defense. Nobody builds defense except Noelle, so there's like maybe 2 characters that can use this weapon total out of all the claymores. While it has an amazing crit damage substat, it is still a very good weapon, a very strong weapon. It's just not usable by 99% of the cast, making it to where I consider it the number 5 on this list, and this should give you guys a good idea of what I mean by all the 5-star weapons are really good. So with that being said, let's go ahead, let's hop into the next one. And coming up next, this one should surprise nobody as well. It is the Unforged, not the Unforged specifically, but the entire Shield series. What I mean by Shield series, all the weapons with the Golden Majesty passive, where there's a bunch of 5-star weapons, one of every kind, increases shield strength by 20%. Let's go ahead, let's move down to the R1 copy. Increases shield strength by 20%, scoring hits on opponents increases attack by 4% for 8 seconds, max 5 stacks, can only occur once every 0.3 seconds. Here's it at R5, fully maxed out. This is still a very strong set, but without having any type of bonus damage percent and just stacking the hell out of attack, it kind of removes your ability to use Bennett if you're using this weapon and you're having it max stacks. It does end up losing a lot of value if you're stacking the hell out of attack, so it's very build centric as to whether this weapon is good for you or not. It's still a pretty damn good weapon, and it is way better than the next 3 we're going to be getting into. But this is still a very strong weapon if you happen to use it. If you happen to get it and you use it and you have Zhongli on the team, or you have Diona, anybody like that that can constantly apply a shield, they're just going to make this weapon insanely good. But because it takes a shield and also because it's just pure attack stacking, it's number 4 on the top 5 worst weapons list. And at number 3, we have the Skyward Atlas. Now this might catch some people off guard. I don't know if people were expecting this one on here. But the Skyward Atlas, you can see I have 2 of these stupid books. It is genuinely just not that good in comparison. It does give you a ton of attack. This one's not even fully maxed out. You can see it still gives a good amount of attack and substat attack percent. It increases elemental damage bonus by 12%. Normal attacks have a 50% chance to earn the favor of the clouds, which actively seek out nearby opponents to attack for 15 seconds, dealing 160% attack. Can only occur once every 30 seconds. So why is this weapon number 3 on the list? Well, the weapon is actually really close to number 2 because the last 3 weapons really are not that good. But this weapon, the reason I rank it so low is because that little cloud it does, normal attacks has a 50% chance in favor of the clouds. This is a catalyst weapon. Catalysts deal purely elemental damage of whatever element type they are. This weapon deals physical damage, and not only that, it does it for 15 seconds, but then it goes on a 15-second cooldown. This weapon has a 15-second cooldown. That's crazy for a catalyst that does physical damage that goes on catalyst users who only deal elemental damage. This weapon genuinely is not good at all. But like I said, with all the 5-star weapons, if you happen to get it and you don't have any other 5-star option, odds are it's better than a 4-star that you can use unless you have something like Widsith. Widsith's way better than this weapon. Widsith is very, very strong, but this weapon genuinely is just not that good. Anyways, let's go ahead. Like I said, it's really close to our next one, but let's go ahead and talk about the next one. And now, number 2 on the list, Skyward Spine. Now, this one's going to shock a lot of people that I rank this so low, because I used to say how good this weapon is. I know back in the early days of Shao, back before I knew a whole lot about the game, I was talking about how good this weapon is, and this weapon genuinely is a pretty decent weapon, but it's just not good on 90% of the polearm users. It's good on Shingling if you want to run physical DPS Shingling or any physical DPS polearm user, but I really don't recommend ever doing that. But it has really good base attack at 674. It has energy recharge as a substat and has low energy recharge as a substat to add on top of that. A lot of the 4-star options give higher energy recharge, so if you're wanting it just for the energy recharge for more support oriented, it's not even good for that. But the passive, I have it at R4, so it's not going to be exactly R1, but you guys will get the idea. Increases crit rate by 14%, which is actually really good of a passive. Increases normal attack speed by 12%, once again, if this is on a main physical DPS option. Additionally, normal and charge attack hits on opponents have a 50% chance to trigger a vacuum blade that deals 85% of attack as damage in a small AoE. This effect can occur no more than once every 2 seconds. So it is a 50% chance on a 2-second cooldown that deals physical damage, 85% of your attack in small AoE. It's decent, this thing. It can crit, it can do all of that, and physical damage bonuses do apply to it, which is why I said this weapon is very good for physical polearm users, but there's no physical polearm user of note right now. Like I said, with Shingling, you don't really use Shingling for her physical damage. With Rosario, you don't use Rosario for her physical damage. There's not a whole lot of polearm users that you use for their physical damage. Now, you can run like physical DPS only. I've seen people do that. There is stuff you can use this for, but genuinely, it's just not that good. Especially whenever you stack it up to the 4-star options you have. For example, like Deathmatch, I think Deathmatch is a better option in it. You can see Deathmatch gets 37% crit rate. The base attack is much lower, but Deathmatch is just a fantastic option all around. So Deathmatch is definitely better than it, in my opinion. You also have the Black Cliff series, which is up in the air, but Black Cliff can be better. This just ranks lowest on all the DPS charts every time. This is just genuinely one of the worst 5-stars in the game. And at number 1, in my opinion, the worst 5-star weapon in the game. This one is very, very close to Skyward Spine. Like I said, the Skyward Atlas, Skyward Spine, and this one are all genuinely pretty close because this weapon still has a lot of value on a specific character. But overall, this weapon is just doggy-doo because a certain 4-star exists. So the absolute worst 5-star weapon in the game, in my opinion, has to be Everlasting Moonglow, the weapon that is meant for Kokomi, the catalyst weapon meant for Kokomi. In my opinion, it's genuinely the worst 5-star weapon in the game. Because what this weapon does is it gives base attack of 608, and then it gives an HP of 49.6. The passive for it is healing bonus increased by 10%, normal attack damage is increased by 1% of the max HP of the character equipping this weapon. For 12 seconds after using an elemental burst, normal attacks that hit opponents will restore 0.6 energy. Energy can be restored this way once every 0.1 seconds. So this weapon actually is so bad it got memed to all hell on release. This weapon is genuinely not a very good weapon. It's decent on Kokomi, but in the end, there's a 4-star option that kind of makes it completely irrelevant. And that 4-star option is Prototype Amber. The main reason, they have very similar HP percents, and the base attack doesn't matter because this weapon's basically only for Kokomi. But Prototype Amber allows you to using Elemental Burst regenerates 4 energy every 2 seconds for 6 seconds. All party members will generate 4% HP for 2 seconds during this duration. So, it's also a team-wide heal as well as generating a ton of energy because this weapon is very easy to get R5 because it is a craftable. I know what people can say, but my prototypes, but if you play the game enough, eventually you will have 8 Catalyst prototypes just sitting there waiting for you to do something with. I don't know what I want to do with them, but I have them. So once you guys get to a certain point, this weapon's going to be very easy to craft, and then all these values are going to essentially double. So you'll have 8 energy for every 2 seconds for 6 seconds, which 8 times 3 is 24 energy, and then you'll also have 24% HP. So it is a very, very good weapon, especially whenever you're comparing it to Everlasting Moonglow at R1. It makes it so Everlasting Moonglow is not that much better, making Everlasting Moonglow, in my opinion, genuinely the worst 5-star weapon in Genshin Impact. So that's my list. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. I know some people are going to be upset by my list. Some people are going to agree with me. Let me know what you guys think. I sat down and thought about this for a while, and this is the list I came up with. I think like I said before, I think all the 5-star weapons in the game are actually pretty damn good. So this list was genuinely harder to do than the top 5 weapon list. But this is where I stand. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. As always, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.